All right, Jeff Hathhorn joins us now. The Fan Morning Show is brought to you by Guardian Protection, your hometown home and business security company. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Good morning, guys. It was a nice win last night. I mean, you got to celebrate the wins when you get them.
That's right. And I went to bed before the game was over. I apologize for that. I apologize to our listening audience. They went in-depth Pirates coverage, and I fell asleep. Nice to wake up to a victory, whereas whenever it was 16-10 in Colorado, I went to bed, Jeff, and I wake up and it's an L. So you'll always take the alternative.
Yeah. I was doing post-game that day. I wish I could have gone to bed.
What time did post-game wrap up that night?
Well, we had to be out at 1 o'clock. We probably could have gone till 4.
You don't say.
We had to be out at 1.
Jeff, you've been at all these Steelers camp practices. You've talked to a bunch of people. You recently sat down with Arthur Smith for a one-on-one. What was your biggest takeaway from that conversation?
Not surprisingly that he's not panicking, that he said there's a lot of things they're trying to work in. There's different personnel, quarterback being the main one, but also with DK, them working together. Jonnu was a late add for everybody. They haven't had the first team offensive line together except for Sunday. And that they're also working a lot of combinations. This was interesting to me, and Dorin, you probably experienced this, but he says he doesn't want guys memorizing plays. What he wants guys to do is big picture every play. And he says that takes a little bit longer. He wants them to understand the whole concept of the play more than just what their role is. And he says sometimes that just takes a little bit more time. So, I mean, he's patient to an extent. He knows the clock is ticking. And he also said, you know, the timing with Aaron is so different than any quarterback most of these guys have ever played with. He was noting one with Calvin Austin early in camp where he said it was a deep pass and Calvin turned and the ball was on him so quick he dropped it because he just wasn't expecting it to be there that fast.
Could you expect or see this playing out? Pat Freiermuth being the odd man out and not getting as many targets as he probably would have maybe 6 months ago heading into the season. Can you see him being like the last line? Well, can you see him not getting as many opportunities with the type of playmakers they have on offense this year?
So I could see them, especially early, looking not away from him, but looking at Jonnu and DK. But you know defenses are going to really focus on those two. So I think actually the opposite, where Pat's going to have a lot of opportunities because I think they're going to try to roll guys to DK and to Jonnu, and I think Pat's going to have shots right up the middle. And I think it could be, you know, that could be very beneficial. I mean, just for him individually, but I kind of like when I do want to give it a little bit more time. And if they can get into some kind of rhythm, I mean, they do have some weapons if Aaron has time to get them the ball and they can establish a run.
DK Metcalf was on the NFL Network, and he said this is the greatest defense that he's ever seen. And all the reports
are right.
Yeah, the defense is looking good. Does that mean that the offense just kind of stinks right now? And you've kind of talked about how it's going to take some time. Is it column C, or is it a little column A, a little column B, or should we be worried at some point about this offense?
Yeah, I mean, this is not a top 5 offense. I think that's fair to say. And it better be a top 5 defense. You're spending all that money. You got those names. You've added everything to the defensive backfield. I really like the Jalen Ramsey ad. I mean, it just seems like a different secondary. And it's not anything against Minka, but, man, he brings this – I wouldn't go as far to say Harrison, but he's got this mentality like, he's a bad man back there. And, I mean, guys, there's been good communication so far. I think Elliott's fit in nicely to his role again. This is just practice. Offensively, though, I mean, they're just – I mean, there are times you're seeing some route mistakes. I mean, there are just some things that they just can't – they're just not doing. And I think it starts up front. I mean, they struggled goal line. They struggled 7 shots, only 1 of 7. So there's on Sunday I'm talking about. So there are some things to work out, but there is a little time. And again, it's only one day for that entire first team offensive line together.
Jeff, everything that I've seen on Juan Thornhill is either him fighting, starting fights, or talking and running his mouth. From your perspective of being there, how has he looked at safety? Has he been making plays? Does he look comfortable?
He looked a little better earlier than he has recently. I don't think there's anything where it's like, man, Thornhill got beat again. Like, I can't believe this. It's not been that. I mean, he's been good. Yeah, the stuff with Jonnu was interesting. There was a lot of chirping, but he's not the only one. I mean, Terrell told us on Saturday, this is the most verbal secondary I think that he's had. I mean, between Slay and Joey at times, and Thornhill and Eccles is just, I mean, Eccles might be the loudest of the group. I mean, he brings a ton of energy, but he also, I mean, you hear him, he's very emotional out there. So, yeah, I mean, Thornhill's been all right, but I think this too, I think they do have some options and how they can work that secondary. And just adding a guy like Chuck Clark, I mean, maybe Chuck Clark doesn't make this team. We'll see, but he has fit in quickly. We'll see how this looks, once they get closer to the regular season.
Jeff, Mason Rudolph, effusive in his praise of Aaron Rodgers. Seems to be the case with Will Howard, too. How's everyone else talking about the new old quarterback?
Yeah, what was it Roman Wilson said? He's the coolest dude I've ever met.
That's high praise.
I mean, there's this swagger with him, but it's not contrived. He's just like that, like the dude from the Modelo commercials. He's just
most interesting man in the world.
He's had a huge career, but he's not seeking it, if that makes sense. He's very comfortable in his skin. He knows what he's done. He knows what he can do. He knows probably more about offense than anybody in that camp. And he has made time to go talk to guys and be a regular guy, is a word you keep hearing over and over again, is regular guy. And I love what Mason told us about how he is respectful in meetings and he'll sit and listen, but if he's got something that he wants to add, he'll do it, but it's not it's in a, like, hey, why don't we do this? It's just, the mesh has been nice. All of this being said, they haven't faced adversity. So adversity is going to be the teacher of how these things work. But so far, I don't know how it could have been better as far as him coming in and getting to know his teammates and coaches.
Jeff, do you think Darnell Washington could be a tackle?
Yes. I mean, but we've seen nothing where he's running O-line drills or they're doing things. But, I mean, just his frame, his ability to block off the line is elite. So, and I think a lot of us have discussed this. And if you're a national guy, you come in, you go, man, this dude could play tackle. That doesn't mean that they're doing it. But I get why people say that. He's probably heard that his whole life. And, man, if he's looking for a payday, position switch would be very much a good decision for him. But, again, there has been him working O-line. There has been no situation where they're, looking at him at a tackle at this point.
But he's been looking good at tight end from what I'm hearing too, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the best in his 3 years that we've seen him move. I mean, when his first year, he would make a nice catch and he'd either go down or stumble. Now he's making a high catch over the middle and turning to the end zone. Like, there's no hesitation. It's more fluid. And I think what you've seen also from Aaron in a few times in 7 shots, and I think a lot of us in there finally, where they're just throwing up passes to him. Like, hey, let's take advantage of this height. And it does seem like the athleticism is better. I'm sure the knee being, that much farther past the injury that he had in college is making that even better. But, yeah, I mean, the fluidity with him is something we haven't seen. And that's where it makes the personnel decisions on who's going to be on the field, especially on a third down, so interesting with this team, and why number 2 receiver may not be as big a deal as we think.
He looks bigger to me from the photos and videos I've seen. You say he's moving fluidly. Do you think he is bigger than he has been? I mean, he's a moose. And is he bigger than Broderick Jones?
When they're together, given the weight that Broderick's lost, it's sometimes hard to tell who's the tackle and who's the tight end. And that's, listen, Broderick's a huge dude. That doesn't mean that, that he's a small guy, but Darnell is he's a monster, and he's starting to show that athleticism. And man, you can imagine you're sitting in that offensive meeting room. It's like, okay, I got to get this guy on the field.
Yeah.
Like, and Gainwell's been doing a lot, and he's very intriguing with some of the routes he could run and the problems he can cause. So how am I going to work? And I think that's some of the thing. We've seen so many different combinations at camp, and I do like the fact that they seem like they're focusing on trying to get Darnell, still having him be a part, as opposed to, all right, we've got 2 tight ends, we're good.
Jeff, it was very nice of you to help Mark Cavalli get his car out of that ditch.
Oh my gosh.
I saw you pushing more than he was, I'll tell you that.
I mean, that whole thing, we're sitting in the meeting room and somebody's like, oh my gosh. And we look at everybody, check out Pomp's Twitter. And we look, and there it was, the beached car. And only Mark.
Yep.
I think what we want to do is get a plaque. We're going to put in that spot so everybody that goes to St. Vincent can know this is the spot where Mark Cavalli almost wasn't able to get home.
Jeff, great stuff as always. We continue reading all your camp stuff on 937thefan.com. Thanks for jumping on. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
All right. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Jeff's the man. Good Samaritan, too.